Next group of questions have to do with members. First one is, how do you know who is in quotes, who is in your group, and how do they know?
One of the booklets has been written called How to Be Joined to Jesus Church, and that would give a lot more thorough of an answer perhaps than I'd want to give here, but I want to say this much about it, that it's based on fellowship, it's based on life walking, and if I don't have something that could be described as a supernatural, life-giving relationship with a person, and no one else in the church does either, then I would say perhaps they're not in. I mean, I don't like those words, but the fact is that a person can only have fellowship if they're willing to walk in the light as He is in the light. And if what we're talking about is being part of a local assembly of believers, being joined and knit together by every supporting ligament, the hand not saying to the eye, have no need of you, to have one heart, one mind, one purpose, bearing one another's burdens, confessing sins one to another, that's not something you can do just haphazardly and offhandedly. I mean, there has to be something there that God has joined together in the Spirit, and if that's not there, it's not that difficult to know. If there's a barrier there, then we've got to make every effort to remove that barrier of fellowship. And it generally has something, as the Apostle John would say, in reflecting on his life with Jesus, it usually has something to do with the light that's blocking this fellowship. So, how do they know it? How do we know it? Well, there's no roll, and there's to take. There's no membership list. There's no banquet for new members. There's no way to place membership. There's no card to fill out. It's not that kind of thing. The kingdom is neither here nor there. It's within you. And if I'm in you and everyone else is in you and you're in me and I'm in you, now those are words Jesus used, wasn't it? He said we needed to be one, as He and the Father are one. I and you and me and them. And, you know, that kind of life where the kingdom that's neither here nor there, but within us, if we're really within each other, we're not just a potato in a bowl of potatoes, but we're a mashed potato in a bowl of mashed potatoes. You know, our life is somehow filled with God and God filled with us, with all of us together. Then we're in. You know, it's not a role thing. We need to get rid of the barriers, which are usually have to do with sin or selfishness or pride or something like that. And in getting rid of those barriers, God melts lives together, and then it's obvious and clear to everyone. It's not an administrative issue, it's a spiritual issue. Spiritual issues seem like foolishness to carnal men, it says in 1 Corinthians 2. So, you know, if that sounds totally foolish, that we would measure things in the Spirit rather than after the flesh, then, you know, I can't take full responsibility for that. It is true that spiritual things do seem foolish if we're not thinking in spiritual ways and having the mind of Christ. Administrative things that's the way men handle problems, but that's not really the way it is in the kingdom of God.